What is going on, guys? This is Platinum Point, and I'm here to bring you guys another Weiss Schwarz deck profile. First of all, I wanted to thank a few people who spotted a few errors I made in my Grisaya video. I made some translation errors on the effects, and my bad. It's been a while since I actually was playtesting that deck, so I've been moving back and forth with multiple decks, so I wasn't so sure about the effects in terms of my memory, remembering it, and I misread the cards, and I appreciate the people who caught the errors. If you haven't saw them, they're in the comments of that video. I'll put in the video and the link in the description below, and in the card on this side of the video. I forget which side it's on, but you'll see the little info card for it. So I promised in that previous video that I was going to do a update on my Sword Art Online deck. So right now I'm going to be showcasing that for you guys. Pretty much I'm still running the Yuuki Sinon combo structure because it's probably the most viable one in English and the most, in terms of success rate, the most successful in terms of doing what it needs to do, which is burn your opponent to death and finish the game through its variety of finishers. So without further ado, let's get on to the deck profile. So in terms of the climaxes, it's still the same. I'm still running the 4 treasure and the 4 book combo, which is nice. Now for the 0 step, I still play the 4 Kirito, the combo of 4 Kirito clean cuts and the 4 Kirito mill runners, because it's the best utility zeros Sword Art Online has in terms of this pairing. If Alicization actually had that kind of pairing, I think it would do a much better job. In terms of new level zeros I've added, I'm playing 3 copies of Silica's Unyielding Trust. I've been testing this card for a while because I was looking for a way of having a salvaging plus in this deck, because this deck filters quite a lot with the Zeka and Yuuki combo. So I was trying to find a way to get a decent plus that is a salvaging and also have a healthy red count in this deck. So I was testing out the Silica on stage from Order No Scale. That was doing fine, but I've noticed since boards are getting beefier, you're not going to guarantee to get the plus unless you're like full on giving it, like just power pumping it to the upteenth, which is really hard to do and very resource consuming. So I decided I was going to go for the Salvage Brainstorm because it's an easy plus and I like brainstorming. And it's the only part about this one, this is a tap 2 Salvage Brainstorm. I wish it was a tap 1, but you gotta pick and choose your battles with Sword Art Online. But the best thing about this deck is it does have access to Amagis, and that in the form of Sister, fond of her brother Lifa. So this card is actually what makes the deck really strong at the 0 step, besides the clean cuts and the runners, because you have a option to either brainstorm or use the Amagi effect, which is just pay a climax on play of climax, pay 1, top 4 check. Sorry, brain farted for a sec. So this is your free plus at any time of the game, and it actually interacts really well with the Zeka and Yuuki because it gets your deck to a really good compress rate, so when you're swinging, you can swing for relevant damage. Also, I'm playing 2 copies of the Lifa Drop Search. This is probably the better drop search and your better source of green at the 0 step. And then lastly, for my 0 step, I play 1 copy of Comforting Moments Asuna. So this is just the only yellow in the deck. I use it for the ability to shuffle back key cards that I can re-get either by drawing them or triggering them off the Zeken combo. So this is just there to help regain some resources, but also for trigger confirmation, because when it gets reversed, you get to reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's level 1 or higher, you get to put this into the stock. So this allows you to stock gen while at the same time trigger confirming for your attack sequences, which is key in this deck. Next, we play for the one step 4 copies of Zekin Yuuki, the best level 1 combo in the deck, especially with its effect of being non-interactive, being a pay 1, discard 1, search 2, which is really nice. Next, I play 3 copies of Beacon of Counterattack Lizbeth. I basically use this as my battering ram at the 0 step. Not the 0 step, the 1 step, my bad. And this is basically your beat stick when you're not playing the Zekin combo. And it has an interesting ability. When this card is reversed, you get to check the top card of your deck, reveal it. If it's level 2 or higher, re-rest it. So this is basically a Swimsuit Megumin at the 1 step, but without the drawback of not being able to play backup. So this is basically your best beat stick at level 1, and because Yuuki compresses your deck, this card you can actually get this pretty damn often. I've actually found it pretty often when I was playtesting. And then lastly, for the level 1, I play 1 copy of the Silica Reverser. I mainly use this for hand fixing, as it has the ability to discard a climax, salvage a character. So this allows you to get rid of all your excess climaxes that you will trigger pretty often, since Gold Bar just always has a magical way of coming in your hand more than one, coming into your current hand multiple times. So this allows you to fix it and get you what you need. And then for the 2 step, I play 2 copies of the anti-damage counter, 1 copy of the Gilbert anti-early play backup, 1 copy of the Lifa board counter. So if you don't know what the board counter is, it's basically a pay 1 top check. If it's a character of the listed trait, which is for this card Avatar Net, you can add it and discard a card. So the purpose of this card is basically to thin your deck out so you can increase your cancel rate. And I mainly play this for just filler, since you kind of need a lot of level 2 or higher characters. I may cut this once I find more level 2s that are a little bit better in terms of resource, but this card is actually pretty decent overall. And then lastly, I play 1 copy of the Kirito bottom deck reverse promo. And then for the 3 step, so I play 1 copy of the Yui stock swap. I might try pump this up to 2, but right now I'm only playing it as a 1-of. Next, I play 1 copy of Link Strike Lizbeth. I've been testing this card back and forth with multiple variations of this build. I've been going from 1 copy to 2 copies to 3 copies, mainly because of its first 2 effects. The first effect is when it comes into play, you get to salvage a character. So this allows you to get a missing piece that you need, that you know is in the waiting room. So let's say you need the Sinon finisher, the Phantom, Last Shot Sinon. Sorry, I had to look at it again. You can fetch it from the waiting room. If you need your clock kicking Lifa, you can fetch that. If you need your restander, you can fetch that. So this allows you to get any missing piece that you need to close the game. And the second ability is on attack, discard 2, burn 1. This card is actually really strong, but the problem is, the reason why I'm playing it at 1 is Memory Snow, and in JP there's a lot of decks that have anti-burn 1 effects. So this card is not that great in terms of that on attack one. So you only basically need to use this when you only get to use this when you know you don't have to worry about the anti-burn 1 effects, which are still pretty rare in terms of in JP pool, and Memory Stone is not in English yet. But I'm just testing this card and just play testing it against Memory Snow. So this is right now at 1. I may pump this back up to 2 after maybe looking back at other testing results. But right now, this is just what I'm testing with. Speaking of early plays, for early plays, I play 2 copies of the Adventure with Everyone Lizbeth. This is basically a mesmerizing goddess Aqua. So this is on her early play requirement is 2 or less climaxes. And when she comes into play, discard one card, heal the top card of your clock to stock. So this becomes and effectively a 2-1 if you have the early play condition, or a 3-1 at level 3. So it's a decent healer, and it's probably the best healer overall in terms of early play options. I'm also running the Lifa Clock Kick. This card is really good. It's the most viable, actually the most universally accepted card in most style builds that I've seen. They run this at least 2 of, mainly because you have a lot of utility with this card. Not only is it a clock kick, which allows you to precision finish if your opponent's at 3-6, but the fact that when it comes into play, you get to top check X equal to the number of total net and avatar characters on board is really good, because it allows you to fetch whatever piece that you need. So it gives you the potential of hitting either a climax if you have the not the link strike, the last shot, Sinon, sorry, mouthful, or if you're looking for another level 3 to pretty much round up your whole set, or even just digging for cards to discard with. This card is really good at fetching what you need at the moment. And another level 3 that I play as a secondary finisher is Link Strike Sinon. This card is probably my favorite level 3 in ordinal scale, mainly because of the restand ability. So when it comes into play, you get to draw a card, and it gains plus 2k for that turn. And when the center card of your center stage attacks, you get to pay 1, discard 2, mill the top 3 cards of your deck. If one of them is a climax, restand it. So this card is really good at closing games. If you've watched my match with 3-6 Cancel when he was playing Gurren Lagann, this is what helped me close the game. This is probably my favorite card overall in terms of level 3s, next to the last shot, because of how often it helped me close games. With restands in general, for some reason I'm able to get it off so long as they're not on reverse restands. So it's like bread and butter for me in terms of my playstyle restands. And then lastly, for the level 3s, 4 copies of the Last Shot Sinon. Kind of self-explanatory. On play heal, pay 2, discard 1, burn 4. So this is your closer, as well as if it cancels, it's a big beat stick. So probably one of the best level 3s in the game for now, because it functions almost like Megumin from Konosuba, because it's a burn 4. The only sad part is it does a clock kick, but it's a burn 4. You get to have a high chance of sticking it, especially if your opponent is in a awkward compression rate, which this deck kind of this deck actually does put your opponent in awkward compression rates with stock swap and repeated moments of aggressive play. And this deck does really well at being aggressive. And if you want to see other builds, I recommend looking at Cohen's build from Strictly Broken. He and I kind of worked on this, my version of this deck. I'd like to thank him for that. Overall, this deck is probably one of my favorite Sword Art Online builds. I've tested a variety, and honestly, I like Link Strike and the Last Shot pairing, but mainly just Last Shot in general. It's one of my favorite finishers in actually all of Weiss. This deck has been a tried and true deck for me, so I actually kind of enjoy playing this deck. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. False crack that like button, and stay on point, guys. Peace out.